I pride myself on not knowing what's going on with Will Smith and P. Diddy and T.D. Jakes and Y.K. Osiris and the little brother Bashir Gray from Empire. That little brother alleged that Will Smith and Diddy, Will Smith and Diddy forced him to engage in sex acts. Come on, man. Because it's amazing, or maybe it should not be amazing or surprising, that the industry either breeds or brings out the sexual deviancy of brothers and sisters. And I said brothers and sisters, even though we only hearing about the guys, because believe me, allegations about the sisters is not far away. And when I say sisters, I'm not just talking about people of a melanated skin tone. I'm talking about these women. It's not far away. We've been heard the allegations many years ago about the women, about the men, and now we just keep hearing about the men. So I'm like, man, what's up with my brother T.D. Jakes? How did that brother get caught up in this stuff? And I'm not mocking nothing, so please don't mistake me when I say this. But if you do, that's on you. Brother T.D. Jakes, great bishop, pastor, inspirational and motivational speaker. One of the men whom speeches that I listen to and I am inspired by. One of the men whom I listen to and I am motivated to do more work in my community to help more people. He has been said to be one of the last of a dying breed of real pastors, powerful pastors. That's what he is said to be. But I've always learned, you know, because just listening to my mother and my father and brothers and sisters who grew up around me, who always tried to guide me, but yet they were engaged in criminality and drug abuse and drug use. But they always tried to guide me. They always had a kind word for me. I didn't know how to extract the word of wisdom that they was giving me. I didn't know how to separate that word, that positive energy, that word. I didn't know how to separate it from the person. Because when I thought of the word, I thought of the person. So I didn't know how to separate it. And now I listen to Brother T.D. Jakes, and I've listened to some of the advice that Will Smith has given, P. Diddy has given, even going back to some of the music of R. Kelly. And again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I am just saying the mounting allegations is what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the positivity that they emitted from themselves. At least that's how it came across to some of us on this side of the TV who did not know them. That's how it came across. But I've always learned that the devil hides in plain sight. I've always learned that God speaks to man through man. But just as God can speak to man through man, the devil can do the same. And so now we have allegations mounting that now puts Will Smith into the equation. It puts Bishop T.D. Jakes into the equation. It brings back the rumors and allegations of sexual behavior between YK Osiris and P. Diddy. It brings up a time when I remember when Chris Brown was like 12 or 13 years old, when it appeared that P. Diddy was grooming, and I'm using the word grooming, Chris Brown, when he was just a little boy. And it's amazing to me because now I think of a word that Mace used to describe what P. Diddy does. Mace said P. Diddy groomed people. And he was making reference to young people or people whom he intends to impose himself upon sexually. Then you go to the brother Game. The Game, the rapper, the Game. He said P. Diddy tried to shoot his shot at him on the low. Why? He said P. Diddy tried to shoot his shot at him on the low. That's what the rapper The Game said. And we already know what 50 said. 50 said Puffy cut into him one day and say, man, why don't you let me take you shopping? I'll pay for it. Man, 50 Cent say, man, you crazy, man. I ain't no woman, man. That's something you say to a woman. Let me take you shopping. I'll pay for it. Come on. So now we got these allegations. We looking at the little young singer YK Osiris, who was once was Puffy's protege. Just recently, and YK Osiris has came out to say that P. Diddy ruined his career. It has been shown that P. Diddy funded YK Osiris's lifestyle because of YK Osiris had went broke from the little sales that he had of the one hit that he had out when he was on Def Jam. But in the cape, and in a hoodie with a mask on, a man came swooping down. A man came swooping down and he rescued YK Osiris. That man was none other than P. Diddy. He rescued him, funded him, walked and talked with him. YK Osiris lived at Puffy's home. Little young boy lived at Puffy's home. Mace said that Puffy grooms. He grooms these people. So now it makes me beg the question. You have 50 Cent, who has no reason to lie, said that Puffy asked him to take him shopping and said, if Puffy said, I'll pay for it. You got The Game, who has no reason to lie, who says that Puffy took a shot at him on a sly tip. You have, he tried to groom Chris Brown when Chris Brown was 12 and 13 years old. That's predator behavior. That's predator behavior there. Now you entering a whole different league of sexual deviancy because you're talking about violating someone. If these allegations are true, this is sexual deviancy at its greatest. This is a violation of human rights. So now, as Guardian Wash said, people don't want to hear certain things because of who saying it. Guess what? They didn't want to hear Cassie. They didn't want to hear the girl from Daddy Became. And it's amazing right now that I'm talking about all guys and sexual deviancy and the common denominator being Puffy. got 4 lawsuits that's being filed against him for sexually deviant behavior, assault, and things of that nature. Everyone can't be wrong. I don't think that some of these very people like the Game, 50 Cent, these people are just going to put their reputation on the line and say Diddy took a shot at them. Come on, man. 50 Cent, the Game, so they just going to put their reputations on the line, their manhood on the line to say that P. Diddy took a shot at them. That's not all. He probably was grooming Mace. Mace wasn't buying it, though. Mace was in the house with him because he was in that bad boy house. He wasn't buying it. He was able to see that garbage. If it is true that Puffy was grooming people like he groomed Cassie at such a young age. And I'm not saying Cassie's allegations is even true, but I understand what it means to be a 50-year-old guy, 40-year-old guy, and you looking at a 17-year-old girl. I understand that to be grooming. I understand that to be predatory. Listen, my man 50 been putting this on the floor for a long time. That's why I love 50. Love him or hate him, he gonna put it on the floor. And that's what he's been doing. People just don't want to listen to him because of it's Puffy or P. Diddy or Sean Combs, whoever the hell he want to call himself. I don't care what the guy name is. All I'm concerned about is the people who's been insulted and sexually assaulted, sexually harassed by the power, because the power think that they are above the law. This stuff ain't just started. Vice Sure Gray from Empire, another young guy, said that Will Smith and Puffy forced them into sexually deviant behavior. Will Smith and Puffy forced him into sexually deviant behavior. It's time out for thinking that because these men have risen from the same ashes and dirt that we are trying to rise from in our impoverished states and communities, we have to stop giving these men certain levels of our attention, certain levels of our respect, certain levels of our honor, just because they rose above dismal situations. Because, and I say that also to say that we have to stop thinking that because brothers and sisters and rose up from dismal situations that they're mentally sane. Money don't make you mentally sane. And this is one of the reasons why they do what they do, because some of them don't even know that they're mentally insane. Some of them think that because they got money, that they can do what they want to do. And that, to me, is part of the definition of being, you got to be crazy if you think that's true. You got to be. So we have to look at this stuff. We have to look at this stuff with a sharper eye so we can start to understand what's really going on, y'all. I don't care if it's Puffy. I don't care if it's Diddy. I don't care who it is. We have to protect our culture. We have to protect our history. We cannot allow the devil to infiltrate our history and our culture, to poison it and make it to what the devil wanted it to be. When I'm talking about history and culture, I'm talking about the history and culture of people. not no specific people, just people in general. We have to protect our culture. We have to protect our sanity. We have to understand that it's apparent that the industry, the entertainment industry, breeds sexual deviancy if someone is not strong. Because I can go back to when I first seen P. Diddy. Y'all remember Usher once said, or it was once said, that P. Diddy took Usher to strip clubs when Usher was just 14 or 15 or 16 years old. Was that grooming? Was he grooming Usher too? Y'all remember P. Diddy and this one guy from down south at the record label was going to have a record label together? Jermaine Dupri, another young guy. Another young guy. What is it with Diddy and these young people? What is it with Diddy and these young people? Man, is anybody safe? The Danity Kane girl, that was a young group. Come on, is anybody safe? Cassie, a young girl. Is anybody safe? Is anybody safe around these so-called celebrities? These so-called celebrities. These are not celebrities. These are sexual deviants. If it is true that they committed some of the allegations that has been alleged against them. They're not celebrities. This is sexual deviancy. This is sexual deviancy. And I stand up against it. I speak out against it. I don't care who it is. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you are a sexual deviant, you're wrong. Simple as that. So we're not going to even play with it. We're not going to even make you think that it's all right, because it ain't all right. We're not going to stand by you. We're not going to stand with you. We're not going to stand for you. We're going to stand against you and everything that you stand for that powers you to think and have the audacity to carry out such acts against people because you are in a position of power. But I want to say this here. This is a caveat. Don't think that because it appears that we see this stuff on TV with Diddy and all these other people, that it don't go on in the churches that don't have money by pastors that are not rich. This goes on everywhere, and we have to be vigilant at all times, because if we don't, we're selling ourselves short. If we don't stay vigilant to this type of nonsense, this type of sexual deviancy, I'm going to give my own personal opinion, because when I think of T.D. Jakes, here's a bishop whom I have to say this, and I have to say this. He has helped change and transform so many lives across the globe. He has helped to mold and transform so many lives. Help put lives on the right track. Help bring light to where there was a lot of darkness. Help bring a lot of brothers and sisters around the world out of states of depression. Brother T.D. Jakes helped orchestrate these paths to the light, man, we're going to get a brother honest for that. We got to get a brother honest for that. But no good deed goes unpunished. For all the good deeds he has committed and shown to our communities, we must hold him accountable if any of the allegations are true about him in the acts of sexual deviancy that he has committed. Because brothers like T.D. Jakes, who communities look up to for guidance, who communities look up to for leadership, whom people look up to when they're in a state of depression, when they're despondent, when they're feeling down, when they're feeling out, when they're feeling hopeless. People like T.D. Jakes, we look to you for that guidance. We look to you for that strength. Some people even look to you as if you are a super being, as if you are directly connected. As if you are directly connected with that source and that force that's beyond our comprehension. Some people look to you for that. And if any of these allegations are true, you have let down so many people. You have turned so many people away from the path that you once told them about and promoted and advocated and talked about on big stages. You will turn so many of people away. Say the sheep shall know the sound of my voice and a stranger shall not follow. Your voice will become strange to people if any of the allegations are true. Your presence will not be rewarded or worthy or honored if any of the allegations are true. P. Diddy, 18 companies have already separated themselves from Diddy already. And there are going to be so many more that pull their money out away from P. Diddy. So many more. There was companies that turned away from Will Smith when he slapped Chris Rock. So what do you think is going to happen now? Because we know that more allegations are going to come out. We know that more allegations are going to come out. We know that some other guy or some other girl is going to raise some allegation against Diddy. We know that now that Bishop T.D. Jakes is in the fire, we know that some other people are going to throw their wood in the fire as well and tell a story about Brother T.D. Jakes. We know that. That's just the nature of the industry. The same people that help you pick you up, it's going to help put you down. The same people that you once instilled fear in and intimidated will now find the courage to come out and speak up. That's just the nature of life. Soon as your bully victim see that someone else had the courage to knock you down, that victim is going to come stand on your neck to make sure you stay down. Because that victim didn't forget what you did to them. And what I'm saying right now is that our community is not going to forget the allegations that's coming out against some of our, arguably, some of our most profound of brothers and sisters that we looked up to. I will say it just like that. Diddy, we looked up to you, man, because despite all of the other things that you had to go through, you made it to the top of a certain level of industry, and we look to you and we aspire to be on that type of level in our respective lifestyles. We say, wow, Diddy came from same type of background we came from. He made it. I may not make all the money that he made, but I aspire to attain his type of drive. I aspire. Will Smith, he went from being Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith making music to being in TV shows and the biggest box office movies. Come on. T.D. Jakes. Come on, man. These are some brothers that, whether you like them or not, if you admit it, some of us aspired to build the courage or the strength or the necessary fortitude that they had to make it to where they are. But now that we're seeing allegations and hearing allegations left and right, now we're starting to say, hold on. Did they really make it off their talent? Or were they introduced to some type of cult and indoctrinated into that cult? And once indoctrinated into that cult, they began to build their popularity because they engaged in the very things that the powers that be know once, if they ever come to light, it's going to destroy so many people. Let me make it very clear for you. Let me make it very clear. The powers that be help put into place a system for brothers like Will Smith, P. Diddy, T.D. Jakes, and so many unnamed big name brothers and sisters from the movies and industry. They help put them in place because they know that young people are going to look up to them. Church folk are going to look up to them. But notice, and I'm not talking about us down here, I'm talking about the powers that be, the systemic racists behind the scenes. They pick all of these brothers up and they have us looking up to these brothers and giving honors to these brothers and wanting to be like or aspire to have some of the strength and courage of these brothers, only to strip the sheet off these brothers once they have garnered so many followers. Take the sheet off of them. And now we see that they have been engaged or alleged to have been engaged in sexual deviancy beyond the recognition that we can comprehend. So now the powers that be behind the scene know that once they strip that cover off and these celebrities are now exposed to the very people that once looked up and honored and respected them, some of us who may not be so strong may turn away from our own brothers and sisters, or look at our own brothers and sisters from here on out with the eye of skepticism. I don't believe that he did that by his own talent. I don't believe that I can achieve that because you got to do this or you got to do that. T.D. Jakes is the Part 2 Eddie Long. Wow. Somebody else said the same thing. T.D. Jakes is the second coming of Eddie Long. Y'all remember him. All I'm saying is this here, y'all. Pay attention. Again, I'm not saying that T.D. Jakes, P. Diddy, Will Smith or nobody else did anything. I am saying that if the allegations are true, any of those allegations are true, they are definitely need to be held accountable. And just because, let me add this caveat, just because these celebrities may have engaged in sexually deviant behavior, even if it's some sadomasochistic type stuff, that doesn't make them guilty of certain allegations that's being made against them. Let me say that again. Even if, for example, P. Diddy has been known, he's been having freak parties since we've ever come in contact with his name, Puffy. He's been having freak parties. That doesn't mean that he's guilty of any allegation made against him. Just because Will Smith have been said to go both ways and engage in open relationship with Jada doesn't mean that he committed any of the allegations that are against him. We understand that a lot of pastors have problems. You know, some of them are sexual deviants. I can't forget about the brother Kirk Franklin when he was going through the things he was going through, and he said he was addicted to sex. Can't forget about that. We can't forget about that. But we also can't define him by that. We also can't define Will Smith by his sexual desires or what he envisioned for himself sexually. We can't define Puffy by how he envisioned himself sexually, his sexual preferences. We can't define him by that. Neither can we define T.D. Jakes. But we can hold him accountable to that. So now when you allow these allegations, allow your private life to no longer be private, everyone is privy to challenge any allegation that's cast against you, because it was you who made your private life public. How? Because when you put your hands on someone, when you put your hands on a woman, any private life that you had now needs to be exposed. And once it is exposed, it's public knowledge now, and you could be challenged at any given time. So once the allegation about Cassie came out, everything else is in the public domain now. And I said it. You can go back a few shows that I did when I first talked about the Diddy and Cassie situation. Check out my podcast, share my feed right now, share this live right now. And I implore anybody to go back to my previous episode. I think it was called the Diddy and Cassie situation. And I said that more people are going to come out. And I even said then, if Diddy did not do this, then we must accord him the respect that he has deserved. But if Diddy did this, he must be held accountable. And I said that there are going to be more allegations come out. Just like right now. There are going to be more allegations come out right now. Because now T.D. Jakes is in the fire now. Will Smith is in the fire now. YK Osiris is being brought back into the fray. Come on. Now the allegations about P. Diddy and T.D. Jakes having sexual relations together. Come on. The good Diddy, you ain't having sex with the good pastor. Pastor, you ain't having sex with the with a sexual deviant. Come on. Hey, this is what's being said. This is what's on the internet. This is what's trending right now. And people are talking about this stuff for a reason. Because there has to be some type of truth to it. There has to be some type of truth to it. TD Jakes, you must have been attending sex parties. Period. If you was, so what? So what? You can get past that. You attended a sex party. So what? That don't make me a bad person. It may make me have some type of problem that I got to get over because I'm married, but that doesn't make me a bad person. It's something that I could get over. But you got to admit it. You can't just say that I never attended any of Puppy's sex parties. I never did this, because guess what's about to happen? There's always somebody who is taking pictures. It's always somebody hidden behind the walls, in the bathrooms, cameras everywhere, somebody taking pictures. Somebody taking pictures. So it's best to just admit that if you was at P. Diddy sex parties, just, I was there. Yeah, and I engaged in sexual acts with somebody. If that's the situation, that's the situation. But if you lie and say you were not there, and allegation after allegation come out against you, now you setting yourself up for blackmail, because when somebody come up with them pictures, they're going to say, now I have your entire future in my hands. And you could either come out and admit, or you could pay me. And I'm going to put you out. I'm going to expose you. You have sexual allegations, and this is the saddest thing to me. This is the saddest thing to me. And I'm being very honest and open with this. The saddest thing to me is that you had this young brother, Bryce Shear Gray from Empire, who said P. Diddy and Will Smith forced them to engage in sexual acts, right? This is the saddest thing for me. How far off do you think the allegations are that's going to include Bishop T.D. Jakes and similar allegations? That some little boy or little girl is going to say that T.D. Jakes came on to him, engaged in sexual acts with him. How far away do you think that is? It's closer than we think. It's closer than we think. But somebody is gearing up with their attorney right now to make that allegation against T.D. Jakes, a bishop, an alleged God-fearing man, an alleged life changer, inspiration and motivational speaker. Somebody is making that allegation right now against Bishop T.D. Jakes. Somebody have pictures of them with Bishop T.D. Jakes at his house or at some hotel. Someone has pictures, and someone is going to come out with those pictures very soon. Because where there is smoke, there's usually fire. And it's a lot of smoke right here. It's a lot of smoke right here. We're about to hear allegations of parents that have been paid off or taken care of by T.D. Jakes or the T.D. Jakes Foundation. Parents who have given lifelong jobs at the T.D. Jakes Foundation. We're about to hear allegations like that too. Now what's happening is they're about to look into the financing of T.D. Jakes Foundation. They're about to look into all of these businesses that T.D. Jakes is tied to. Because people want to know if T.D. Jakes has been putting on hits all this time. People want to know. And God forbid, people post evidence of T.D. Jakes' involvement and sexual deviancy and puffy parties and all this other stuff. And God forbid one of these young boys or young girls come forward with allegations that Bishop T.D. Jakes engaged in sex acts with him or her, or forced them to have sex acts in any type of way, or tried to pay them to have sex acts in any way. God forbid that happen. But I can see it happen. And I can see it happening very soon, before the year is over. I can see that happen. And we're already December 26th. I can see Bishop T.D. Jakes entering the new year under several lawsuits by some of his followers and people whom we may have never, not even known about. Maybe celebrity too. That's going to say Bishop T.D. Jakes engaged in X, Y, and Z with them. So what do we do? What do we do? Because this is an indictment to all Black pastors. It is a direct indictment. Who is indicting them? If the allegations are true, people like Bishop T.D. Jakes are indicting the Black church. It's making all of the Black churches look suspicious. Brothers like Puffy, P. Diddy, you're making all of the other entertainers that have made it to certain levels of financial status, you're making all of them look questionable. Will Smith, if the allegations are true, you're making all of these Black actors who have made it to certain financial status and superstar status in the movies, you're making their character questionable. We know that it's not right to judge someone else's character by someone else. We know that. But we also know that we live in a world that is what goes on every single day. So therefore, we brace ourselves. And right now, news reports say that Bishop T.D. Jakes is bracing himself. That's the word that they use. He's bracing himself. News reports say that Bishop T.D. Jakes got emotional when he attempted to address the sex party allegations. He got emotional. You should get emotional. You should get emotional. Because my personal opinion is that this stuff is not just falling out of thin air. So the things surrounding Puffy, P. Diddy, all this stuff, how did your name just drop out of thin air? How? I don't think your name just dropped out of thin air, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I think that there is some truth to it. It may not all be true, but there is some truth to it, and that's the part that you must stand up and admit to before the entire wall comes crumbling down. Because the wall is going to come crumbling down. Every single time that allegations have been spread about someone, and they said they didn't do it, and there was a few allegations, and then some more allegations, and then some more allegations, then some more allegations, then some more allegations. Eventually, you have been broken down so far that it doesn't matter if the allegations are true or not. You're guilty. And y'all know how that goes. You're guilty. So now, if there is anything that you did in violation of your oath as clergy, why don't you come out and admit it right now, Bishop T.D. Jakes? Don't string this along. Don't allow these people behind the scenes who help you to become who you are Don't allow them to tie the rope around your neck and strangle you by your silence. Don't allow it. Some of them want you to remain silent because it's a better story to tell of someone falling from grace when that person stands silent, even in the face of adversity, even in the mountingness of evidence. When that person stands silent, it's an easier story to sell when you get torn down. Take their power away and take your power back. If you have done anything in violation of your oath to the church, just stand up as a man and admit it. That's how you take your power back. That's how you give the power back to whom gave it to you, your creator. You respect that connection. But as long as you stay silent on something that you know that you did, as long as you remain silent, the devil is going to keep picking at you. The devil is going to keep chopping at you. The devil is going to keep controlling and setting up roadblocks for you. That's where the term comes in. The truth shall set you free. We're not talking about free as in you can do what you want to do free, but the truth shall set you free when you go on and admit to something and say, yeah, I did it. I messed up. I want to, do the right thing now. Now you took that burden off your shoulder. You took the mask off your face. That's how it worked. You took the mask off your face and the burden off your shoulder. Because the truth shall set you free, for real. That's real talk. Bishop T.D. Jakes, you may not ever hear the sound of my voice, because I may not even mean anything to you. But I say to you, if you have done anything in violation of your oath to the church, come forward, admit it, get it off your shoulders, let the people know. If you want to apologize, so be it. But you got to do something. You got to do something. Don't just allow, especially allegations that's made against P. Diddy right now. Don't allow them allegations to be yours. It's like I used to tell guys when I was in prison. Most of us who ended up in prison for somebody else. I didn't particularly do the crime I was locked up for, but I did so many other crimes. And most of the time that I've talked to guys and have interviewed people, the crimes that we tend to commit or end up in prison for is crimes that we took the blame for because of somebody else. Because we didn't just want to stand up and say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. See, that's what a man do. A man stand up and say, man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. A man stand up for himself. I'm not telling you to do anything beyond just standing up for you. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying, because I'm very clear. I'm speaking about Bishop T.D. Jakes. Stand up and admit to the part that you took in whatever, so people can stop trying to put on you something that don't belong. I know how it feels, believe me. But I also know how it feels when you could just tell the truth and the burden is off your shoulders. Now can't nobody use it against you because you already told the truth about it. That's where we at with it. That's where we at with it. The allegations that's mounting against P. Diddy and the allegations that are soon to come against P. Diddy, you don't want no parts of. You don't want no parts of. Because you're talking about sex acts. You know, we don't know how young Diddy's alleged victims were. We don't know who's going to be next and how old they were when they were approached or sexually assaulted or in whatever the situation may be with P. Diddy. We don't know. But we can reasonably assume that P. Diddy liked little boys. We can assume, I say assume because we don't have, that don't mean you're right. It's just an assumption. We can reasonably assume from the allegations that have been said that P. Diddy liked little boys, that P. Diddy is a sexual deviant. We can reasonably assume that. We can reasonably assume that all of the allegations made by some of the biggest name rappers that there ever was in the world, The Game, 50 Cent, these guys have said that Diddy tried to shoot a shot at them. Come on. Chris Brown was 12, 13 years old when Diddy was trying to groom him. Bashir Gray of Empire said Diddy and Will forced him to engage in sexual acts. YK Osiris, a little young up-and-coming singer, lived in Diddy's house up under Diddy's tutelage. It has been said that Diddy had a relationship with him. News reported that Diddy was taking Usher to strip clubs when Usher was only 14, 15 years old. So listen, it's a lot of allegations that are waiting to come out. And you can believe that a lot of people with their allegations, they're like in a line right now. When they have Jordans at Foot Locker and people got to wait in the line. And sometimes you just got to have patience because that line be long when them Jordans come out. Let me just say that I don't wear Jordans, never had a pair of Jordans. I wear Adidas Top 10s. But anyway, I understand because I've been outside of the Foot Lockers and certain other stores when the Jordans come out. And people waiting in line to go get their Jordans. That's how people waiting in line to tell their story right now. They're not going to just bombard the place because they want their story to be heard. So they're going to patiently wait because they know that if they patiently wait, they're going to get their story out the way that they want to get it out and not misconstrued the way that some people want it misconstrued. So I'm not going to hold y'all up any longer. I said what I had to say. I just want to thank everybody for listening to me and giving me the platform to say what I got to say. But I also want us as a collective community in this social media world, I want us to pray for all of the victims of physical and sexual abuse. I don't care if the so-called suspect, defendant, offender, whoever is an athlete, entertainment, whatever they is. I am talking about victims. I want us to pray for all of these victims that are being, some stories are not even being told. Some people are scared to tell their stories. Some people don't know how to tell their stories. Some people are being muzzled, restrained. Fear has restrained the mouths of so many victims. And we know, because we have seen some victims, the hurt gets so deep that some victims take their own lives. The hurt gets so deep that some people, some victims, suffer mental issues. I want to say that we need to pray for these victims. We need to have a better listening ear. We have to listen with patience when people come up to us and tell us stories. We can't take pride in issues, which I've heard a few guys that I know when they said, one of my friend's son said, the teacher, his son was like 12. He said the teacher, female teacher, came on to him. And my friend was like, man, what? You supposed to respect that. That's what you want. At least it wasn't no guy coming on to you. No, you don't. We have to let our children be children. We have to let humanity be humanity and not degrade it, not dehumanize it. So I want to pray for all victims, men, women, and children who have suffered traumatic experiences by whomever it was that offended them. I want us to pray for them. I want us to keep them in our prayers. And I want us to remember that no matter who a person is, how powerful, how strong, or whatever the situation may be, no one deserves to be sexually assaulted and abused. With that, I'm going to end by saying peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message because someone needs to be inspired.